tell the people what's your name and where you're from.
Okay, my name is Kallie. Some know me as Kallie Dapper, Kallie Weed from back in the days, you know. And I'm from Jamaica originally. Right now, I'm based in Long Island, New York.
So what made you want to get into music?
Well, music was always a passion of mine. You know, as a young kid growing up, I used to always listen to music, and I always felt like I wanted to create music, you know, and just try to be different, you know. So, you know, when I was younger, say around 16, that's when I really started messing with the mic, you know, started playing with, actually back then we had a little boom box, and I had little beats on a cassette tape, and you know, I would just sing over it. And I said, you know what, let me get into recording. So I started recording at a studio, a small studio in Amityville. And you know, I liked what it was sounding like, and I liked where it was going. So I said, you know what, I think this is a passion of mine. So it never stopped since that day.
When did you start to take music seriously?
I started taking music seriously, say at around the age of 16. I recorded a little demo tape. Back then, you know, everybody was going to the labels getting a deal, because I felt I like my sound. I like, you know, what I was doing, and my passion for it was intense. And I went to sleep with music. I woke up with music, you know, and I just kept going. And, you know, it evolved from there.
So when did you decide to make it a career?
Actually, I decided to make it a career when I was about 18, 19. Actually, no, a little bit older than that. I was around 20. And actually, a friend of mine, Milo, some of you guys might know him from Leaders of the New School. We got together and we clicked. You know, he was a DJ, producer, and you know, we started vibing, and from there, you know, it blossomed. You know, we ended up. Milo actually ended up with the deal, and you know, before I know it, I was in the big studios in Manhattan, John King. Some if you guys know, and you know, I recorded there. I got to meet people that was doing what I love to do, you know, and you know, I recorded actually with Leaders of the New School, and you know, it sounded as Zekas. Was the first song that I did on a major label, you know, with Leaders of the New School, and I said I'm gonna keep going, you know, and from there things started happening, you know. I ended up meeting Apache. Apache, some of you guys know, he sing that song, I Need a Gangster Bitch. You know, he was actually recording in the studio at the same time, and he kind of heard what we were doing, and he was like, he wanted to do a joint with me, and me and Malo actually, and we ended up doing Hey Girl with Apache on Tommy Boy label. And from there, you know, we met a few people. I actually got offered a deal with Warner Brothers. Leo Cohen's, he's a big wig in the music industry. Not sure what he's doing now, but he came to us, and you know, they really liked what we were doing. They liked the chemistry with me and Milo, and they offered us a deal. Well, that didn't pan out because at that time Milo was signed with Leaders of the New School, and to tell the story. They either wanted Milo with me and him to be a group. Well, I can't say a group. It's just two of us, but they like our chemistry. They wanted us to do an album. Buster actually said, told Milo, let's stick with Leaders of the New School. So Milo opted to stay with Leaders of the New School at the time, but I continued doing what I'm doing. So after Hey Girl, I ended up on Leaders of the New School's second album, A Future Without a Past. And the Future Without a Past was the first album. I ended up on the second album, The Inner Mind's Eye. I did Spontaneous with them. And then from there, I started making noise, but things didn't work out with the group, so that was that. And then what I did from there is I continued, and I made my album, and which was a very nice album, I would say, Blazing 52, which still till this day is in stores, and I got really good reviews on that album.
So what obstacles did you face while pursuing your career?
I wouldn't say it's an obstacle. It was just life. I ended up with my first daughter, and it was making decent money, but it wasn't enough to sustain. So, I ended up saying, okay, you know what, I got to get a gig. So I ended up getting a job, and I kind of put a little strain on what I was doing musically. So, but the love it never went anywhere, but I just couldn't really pursue it the way I wanted to, But
So, through all of this process, how were you able to transition from doing music into the music business side of it?
we ended up creating a website. It's called beatclash.com. Clash with a K. And we said, okay, we wanted it to be a battle website, which is the basis of it, but we also wanted to create a vehicle for young artists and indie artists to really, get their music out there,
So being that you said all of that, I'm going to give you an option in today's world. So today, what do you think is beneficial today as far as music? Is it getting a record deal or being independent?
Being an indie artist today, just the way everything is set up with social media and everything, you can really, really make it as an indie artist. You really, really don't need a record deal today. So a record deal to me today, it's not like back in the days. A record deal to me today is like, okay.